What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas. You know me by now, and I am welcoming you to the Saturday night edition of The Awakening World. It's going to be a really fun show. Tonight is the lunar eclipse, and it's a very powerful energy. My other self, my Love Coach Scott self, has had a lot of clients, a lot of friends who have reached out and let me know they're going through a lot. And I'm wondering what's going on for all of you. I've heard a lot about what this lunar eclipse is all about. And we are blessed because my co-host is the amazing Gwenevere. She's been on our show pretty much every year at this time. And so it's wonderful to have Gwenevere with us tonight. She is going to kind of explain to us all about lunar eclipse energy, help us to understand Secret Samhain, the history of it. So welcome, Gwenevere. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for welcoming me, Scott. I'm very blessed to be here with you. I'm excited to share with you tonight. And also, I'm really excited to see all the amazing energy that's going to be moving around.
Absolutely. It's going to be a powerful show. And we always have, of course, our beloved Omashar, who's going to provide not one, not two, but three musical numbers that he has prepared for us. And as always, he's got the best backdrop. Look at that amazing being behind him. And then we will conclude our show tonight with Pia Avia providing a KES group healing coming all the way from Iceland. So definitely stick around for that. It's going to be a really wonderful to have you with us. Thank you, Pia, for coming back. We so enjoyed having you with us last time. So thank you very much for being with us. And I also want to let you know that earlier this week, one of our favorite presenters on Global Peace Tribe shows passed away. Some of you might remember MIchael Tamura, beautiful man. And he was always smiling. Every time I saw him at conferences or had him on the show, he was just always looked like that. Anyway, MIchael passed away this week. And so we're going to dedicate a good portion of tonight's show to honoring MIchael. Ironically, he was always talking about near-death experiences, so rather perfect. So we're going to play some of the segments of MIchael's previous participation in the show. And we also have a special video from Adey Bell in costume. And we're also going to hear on video from Daniel Brinkley tonight. So we've got a fun show planned. And as most of you know, we always start with an Omashar song to get us up and going. Get ready to move and groove. I think I saw Eleanor Joy come in, and I think Adora. So Omashar, happy lunar eclipse night. And take it away, brother.
Happy Samhain, yes indeed. That's the hunter moon or the harvest moon, and so depends on your perspective. But I like the harvest moon. That's probably my favorite. So, are you ready? Relations, I am one with you. In all that you teach me, I give thanks to you. With my heart, I listen as I pray. I know you are with me, guiding my way. All my relations, I am one with you. In all that you teach me, I give thanks to you. With my heart, I listen as I pray. I know you are with me, guiding my way. Four-legged winged ones, creatures great and small, in humble honor I will stand tall, walking straight the path of harmony. All my relations walk with me. Those who've passed over reach back through the veil, with thinking of you, and though you've set sail, heaven and earth are one reality. You know we are with you, setting you free. All my relations, I am one with you. In all that you teach me, I give thanks to you. With my heart, I listen as I pray. I know you are with me, guiding my way. Four-legged winged ones, creatures great and small, in humble honor I will stand tall, walking straight the path of harmony. All my relations walk with me, and those who passed over reach back through the veil. We're thinking of you, although you set sail. Heaven and earth are one reality. You know we are with you, setting you free. All my relations. Scott, you're muted, brother.
And let's look at all these beautiful relations in the Global Peace Tribe. And I see friends from Ashland and all over the country, Ohio, Pacific Northwest, Asheville, North Carolina, Sedona, Arizona. So it's beautiful to be with all of you from all over. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to go straight to Gwenevere, and welcome. It's so good to have you with us. Whoops, I did the wrong thing. There we go. Where is she? There she is.
I was like, where am I? Let me check. I'm here, I think.
I'm already confused. It's like the evening, the energies are coming in. I want to, by way of introduction, and some of you have heard this story before, but I've known Gwenevere for, we just figured out, for 22 years. And I first met her when I was producing, back when I was doing shows like Strange Universe and Looking Beyond. She was one of the psychics that we worked with. And that was around 1990. Actually, those shows, really, I know you earlier because those shows were in the late 90s when I did those shows. And anyway, many years went by. And in 2011, my wife passed away. And I hadn't spoken to Gwenevere for at least a decade. But I think we had stayed friends on Facebook. We were Facebook friends. And about 6 months after my wife passed away, I was moving from my office through my bedroom real quickly to go to the bathroom. And as I entered the bedroom, for a flash, I saw my wife, who had passed away earlier, on the bed smiling at me. And it was one of those quick things, so fast. I was like, but of course, it was so fast and she was gone. So go to the bathroom, go back to my computer, and within minutes, I get a Facebook private message from Gwenevere saying, "Hi, Scott, your wife," first off, I acknowledge the passage of your wife. I've been following this, and she just came to me and wanted me to reach out and let you know, yes, you did just see her. Yeah. It was a while after that I came to visit you in Asheville, and you connected to my wife on the other side, and I had an incredible conversation with her that night through you. So thank you so much for your amazing service to our world, to me personally, and it's always such an honor. It's really become a tradition every year for our All Hallows Eve show. You are at the central part of our show. So thank you for being my co-host tonight.
I'm obviously always honored to be your co-host or your host or your whatever I happen to be, because honestly, I always knew that there was a divine alignment between us. The longer I knew you, the more I saw that our different groups, people I didn't even know you knew, were all intersecting. And I was like, this was always going to happen. I was always going to be part of your energy at some point. Now I'm going to actually add to something that I never really spoke on about when I met you and also your wife, because I feel like in the past I've let you speak on it, but I've never really kind of added to. The night before I actually met you, a very powerful spirit entered my room, probably I'm going to say 2 a.m, and crashed my curtains down. So it was very, very obvious. And then sat down on the edge of my bed, looked like the God version of you, which is very interesting because the thing I love is when I met you, you had long auburn hair. And the person who came up to me was you now, basically, but like if we amplify you to God version. And you, for real, I'm not even kidding. And you sat down across from me and you were sharing these profound spiritual passages that is you now. So when I met you, you weren't this person that you became. And you sitting across from me, I was in awe and completely taken off guard. So when I finally did meet you, it's one of the reasons why when we were in the room of psychics, I was the only psychic that knew about your previous relationship with Whoopi Goldberg.
Right, that's right.
And I believe Lily Tomlin too. And it's because you told me. How's that for them apples?
Amazing.
Now you know something extra. So I didn't even read you there. I just I got all the information from you the night before.
Wow.
And then if we return to sushi, then what took place was that same day that I inboxed you, I saw you walking down the hallway. Like I was just in a meditation. And I see this beautiful being that looks more like an angel than a human being turn, look at you, and just beam sunlight, the most beautiful smile. And then she turned to me and she said, please don't let him think that he imagined it. It's very important he knows that I made sure to acknowledge that I would never leave his heart. And that was something I wanted to share with you tonight, especially considering the moon, considering Michael, considering this phase.
Thank you. I'm a little choked up.
Well, I love you. And it was really funny. It's a brother-sister love at first sight. I mean, I loved you from the minute I saw you. And it's so beautiful when that happens. There's no weirdness to it. It's just a pure flow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay. Well, that was a beautiful start. And I would love for you to share with us about how do we work with this lunar eclipse energy?
Okay, well, first off, it's a big one, right? And I know everybody's feeling it, and I know everybody's probably feeling it incredibly hard right now. Depending on whether or not you got on top of the most recent solar eclipse that we just had, that one that just happened, okay? Because we're in the middle, we're in bookends right now. That solar eclipse is connected to the solar eclipse that's coming up in April, okay? So technically speaking, right now, we're actually inside of an energetic portal that's asking us to assess the harm or the pain or the things that need to be healed within us so that we can step into a golden era or a new dawn kind of energy of a world. And you know, I've spoken to you in the past about portals, and I've learned them. Portals have been teaching me themselves, because each time I cross through one and come out the other side, I've learned what just happened. Okay. So this lunar eclipse placed so elegantly between the two, right? Solar, lunar. We're in the eclipse season. This one placed in the middle is literal. It's so rare to run into a literal one that's having a direct dialogue that's not even mysterious, because its choice of coming on the full moon right before Halloween, Samhain, veils between the worlds is thinnest, is asking us to get in touch with the gifts that our ancestors have left us to navigate moving forward without getting caught in the gunk of what we've been through. We have to continue to purge and heal while being effective and clear, because it's a balanced one. This is a very balanced eclipse. Eclipses usually force you into your shadow self. This one's actually forcing you to death, which is different, okay? Because death is change and transformation and birth. And it's already been such an active eclipse that it has been showing itself in symbols, and the people that it kind of churns or upsets or disrupts are the people it's resetting. Okay. So if people have been having a hard time, you're supposed to look at that as an opportunity. A doorway of opportunity is being presented right now, especially considering the fact that this inheriting the gifts of the ancestors, so that we are like Perseus in the fable, where he's given Bubo the owl, he's given the shield, he's given Pegasus. We're given gifts to be able to take on larger tasks and do amazing and extraordinary things. So this is a very unique one. I will also say it ruined my whole day, but not for a bad reason. A gift that was shown to me many, many years ago was the energy of cattle being associated with wealth, because way back in the day, cattle was money, right? Well, my neighbor's cows got in my yard, and I spent literally from 3 a.m. last night, full moon, to about 6 p.m. my time, chasing cows out of my yard. Big cows. We're talking longhorns.
Wow.
But that's the symbol, though, which is really funny because I actually knew the connection. So the fact that it happened now was something I was like, okay, I know the connection. So I'm imploring audience and people who are watching right now to pay attention to when you're noticing that it is somebody that has passed, somebody you dearly love is trying to reach out to you and give you a gift, because this is the time to receive it.
Wow, beautiful. And what about, I've heard that, this is a time where it's like a reset button. That's what the Twin Ray was saying. Anything you can
It is
say?
literally a reset. That's why I used the word death and rebirth.
Mhm.
The other thing that I had come visiting to share that with me was I had a raven violently peg me with an acorn yesterday. And acorns represent the new story, the new birth, the new doorway.
Wow.
And ravens, by the way, are ancestors in magic.
So when you said pegged you, what does that actually mean? What?
Well, I mean, ravens do what ravens do, right? I was walking along the street, and it was making purring and flirting sounds. And I was focused on where I was going, and it decided, well, I was actually talking to you and you're not paying attention to me, so I'm going to get your attention. And it partially peeled an acorn and it threw it at me, and it bounced off my shoulder. And the only reason why I know it threw it at me is because it didn't fall out of the tree. It wasn't just a bounce off. It was like a violent, and it just continued to purr and giggle at me. It was really kind of adorable.
Wow.
I have the acorn. Far be it for me to frown on a gift from a raven. I mean, Odin would be horrified.
And we've got about 8 minutes to go into you leading a meditation. So you've got about 8 minutes to share with us about All Hallows Eve, Sacred Samhain, the history, and how we work with it.
Okay, I will repeat some of the things you already have heard from me in the past because it's always going to be intersecting. If we want to go to the origins of Samhain, then we're going to go to Ireland for that. And in Ireland, the whole process of candy, for instance, was to feed the spirits. It was the idea of creating a gift for those ancestors. They knew that the veils between the world was thin. They knew that technically for them, it was their new year because it was the beginning of the rest of the year. Because, you know, they have a different new year than us. They don't do January, they do the 31st. And so I have my little pumpkins right here, right? And the symbolism of the pumpkin or the gourd is the whole idea of the seeds of the future, right? It's like the seeds are ready to go underground, right? We're going to go into winter, they're going to go underground, and they're going to gestate. So we get into costume so that mischievous hobgoblins and strange spirits don't come around and start creating chaos, because that doorway that's thin isn't just the one that is to our relatives, it's the one to all the other dimensions and all the other worlds, where usually the fairies and the elves and the hobgoblins and anybody who's a little bit mischievous out there in the woods is usually doing their own thing. But when they see that opportunity to engage and they think that this could be a moment where I could have some fun scaring the heck out of somebody, they do in fact interfere, which is why the costuming happened, was so that you would either A, scare them off first. So a scary costume was to scare off mischief and interference. A costume such as this is more of a connection to the ancestors, but it would also, they would think you were one of the ancestors, which I still love. I love the idea that they see you wandering down the street. They're like, it's just a ghost, you know, not a person. Don't want to bother that person. I'm sorry, I'm always so deeply amused by the beauty of the holiday because it is both so charming, because magically speaking, with these veils opening, we can have the most amazing dialogues with everything from our ancestors to even the hobgoblin, if you want to dare it, to deities and gods, right? And then the honoring with the candles and the gourd and the candy, so every spirit is fed, keeps you in good, basically faith, you know, keeps you in this really positive place. Now, one of the things I've noticed is there's been an evolution energetically where there's been more and more activity. And that's just something I've witnessed over the course of my life, where when I was younger, I noticed that there was less interference. And now I'm noticing that there's so much interference. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Scott, but there has been people filming all different kinds of phenomena in their houses and they don't know what to make of it. I can't even tell you how often I've seen people's relatives walk right behind them. It's been very active. So yes, Sacred Samhain is an opportunity to be part of a dance that doesn't necessarily ask us to be part of the practical chores of the practical world. We're being asked to remember that we're more than just our flesh. Our bone is the only thing we really leave behind. And, you know, sometimes even that's pulverized into sand and dirt, right? But our spirits continue and dance between and with us at all times. It just, if you're a medium like I am, you can access that more fluidly. But now even a normal person who's just a little bit intuitive can also access it. I still require people to understand, protect yourself, create sacred blessings in your homes. I don't salt the earth because that's bad for the earth, but I use salt to put over my boundaries, for instance, like right over the doorstep or right over the windowsill, so that that mischief isn't moving on somebody, because people can have a hobgoblin hop onto them and walk into your home. So I just let that the salt scrubs them off. And I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, because at this point, I think I am Sacred Samhain.
And where does kind of the Day of the Dead, the Mexican tradition, how does that kind of fit in? Like, is it that every culture just recognized that this is when the veils are thin, so they created their own version of connection to our loved ones on the other side?
I have also noticed that, right? Because when you realize that Ireland and Mexico didn't have that ability to confer with each other, but they all had their own traditions. And to some degree, obviously, we rubbed off on them when we came through. So obviously colonization took place. There was a mingling, but they already had their ceremonies to the dead, and they already were connected to those energies and the understanding of truly honoring and respecting. I think they are potentially the most elegant version of honoring the dead I have ever seen in my life. I have considered myself incredibly lucky to learn and to interact and engage with them, because it has expanded my ability to see the sacredness and being part of that whole process. So everybody's bringing something that we all have this. I'm going to say that we all have an innate knowledge within our spirituality about what is sacred and how to behave in sacred ways. And each person's traditions may be close, but not the same. But when we engage with each other, we're constantly transforming traditions. We're constantly integrating traditions, and we're sharing, we're favoring each other. And that form of harmonic flow is the human family, is a deep thing, because long before the continents divided, we were one family. And so we would have, basically, when we're talking ancestral, we're also talking DNA, right? We have that information that comes through that we all to some degree share. So there's a flow that is all of us, a oneness.
Beautiful. And during the meditation that you're going to lead in about 2 minutes, will that be an opportunity for us to kind of begin to get prepared to connect to our beloveds on the other side? And what do you suggest as ways for us to do that?
One of my favorite ways of dialoguing with the other side is the concept of feeding the dead, right? The spirit plate. When you are looking at Dia de los Muertos, you're looking at, usually marigolds is the flower that is primarily used, right? You're looking at the spirit bread, those beautiful buns that they create. You're looking at actual sugar skulls, made of sugar. This one's a resin skull, but you have your actual skulls. I myself have different skulls assigned to hold spaces for ancestors or for even deities, especially when you're thinking about Kali as a transition goddess that works with the dead and is a cemetery goddess. So if I'm going to advise people on how to do it, I would advise them to put out incense, right? That's actually going to be part of our meditation as well. I'm going to be flowing. Basically, the guidance of what I would ask people to do is going to be in our guided meditation to some degree. But yes, food, incense, smoke, send your prayers on smoke. Lighting the candles so that they can engage you from that natural energy. Obviously, it's preferable to have a lit candle over electric lights. From that natural energy, obviously, it's preferable to have a lit candle over.
I just was bringing in our other group, because we now have our twin ray community that comes in to the awakening world at 6:30. So I've got that going on my other computer.
I
So
love the twin rays.
We're linking and bringing our worlds together. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Gwenevere, to lead us on tonight's meditation.
Thank you. Will you give me some sort of signal when I'm getting close to the meditation so I don't go too long?
Oh, you can start the meditation now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And 10, 15 minutes, whatever is in your flow.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I want everybody to feel into their body. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Make sure the breath, just hold it for a second. Just bring it in. Count of 3. Think count of 3 when you exhale. It's good to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to do that again. Eyes still closed. Take a breath in. Out through the mouth. Feeling back into the body. On this third one, I want you to locate the parts of your body that is hurting today. On that last out breath, if you've located the shoulders as the issue, hips as the issue, jaw as the issue, or even that you notice that you're holding your face tensely or in a frown, I want you to take this moment literally to center yourself inside of the exact spot that hurts and start to see a beautiful light coming from this full moon, a silvery light descending down, down, down into that beautiful, beautiful area where the pain is asking for that healing. These are opportunities. So go to where the pain is, go to where the vibration is stuck, and let that silver moonlight feel like sacred water and let it flow through. See it releasing. You're not alone. See it releasing. You are with the people who love you. See it releasing because this moon is calling in your most sacred ancestors. And let it fall, fall, fall like autumn leaves away. While your eyes are closed, I want you to hear the sound of the rustling of the leaves as they're moving on the wind. And as these leaves are rustling around you, you realize you can feel the cool, crisp, damp of autumn's shifting season. It's going to come in and around you like a sacred hug. The wind that's rustling the leaves, the sound of an owl hooting in the distance, you can hear it. Maybe it's a great owl, maybe it's a screech owl. Everybody experiences these things differently. And as you sit here and you let the silver light come in, I want you to see yourself surrounding yourself with an orb of light. You are literally inside of the moon now, and you're seeing yourself inside of that light, deeply protected, and you realize that you're being watched by loving eyes. You can feel the love from the eyes, and you can see in the distance the forms of the people you've loved who have passed starting to approach you. As they approach you, you imagine that you are standing in the field, holding a beautiful white pumpkin out. And maybe as the mist is starting to part, you might recognize the face of a beloved smiling at you now, seeing this beautiful gift you are offering, this beautiful white pumpkin. The pumpkin can be tiny or it can be large, but it is containing inside of it not just the seeds of the future, but a love gift that you're offering to them. All the memories, all the laughter, all the times that you did things together and learned and grew in wisdom is inside of this pumpkin you're offering to your beloved loved ones. You are handing it over. If they stay in shadow, if the moon is obscuring their features, trust that it is one who truly loves you and respects you that is receiving this gift. Sit in front of them in a state of beauty, knowing that you're being greeted by somebody who's going to assist you now in a deep transformational change in your life. One who knows the way and has seen it coming long before you knew the way is sitting now across from you. Maybe they're shining, maybe they're a light. Whatever form they've chosen, even if it's the form of an animal, they are engaging you from a space of absolute respect. Now I want you to see that they are placing very carefully around you a beautiful circle of lit candles, because they want to make sure that you understand that every single lit candle that they're placing around you in a perfect circle is an ancestor you have never met, that you do not know the name of, that goes back 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some of you will reach the 7th of these ancestors sitting around you in a perfect circle. Some of you will notice that a spiral of them will start to expand out, 7 more and 7 more, until you are sitting in the middle of a lotus blossom of ancestors smiling on you. Each of them is lighting a candle, and each candle that you're witnessing being lit has a different color. And each of the colors represent a gift that they are leaving you. Some forgotten poem, some forgotten science, some forgotten agriculture, some forgotten story, some forgotten protection, some forgotten art form. All these solutions are being lit around you, and each of the candles, as they start to flicker, start to rise, and what happens next is phenomenal. You see, as they're rising and rising, that you're in a circle that is now more of a bonfire, completely surrounding you, than it was the candles. And as it burns in a beautiful way, not harming, not touching, a secret, special, sacred spirit fire, sometimes green, sometimes purple, changing, shifting. They ask you now to throw in any of the directions. You can stand, you can spin, you can dance inside the vision in physical form if you like to do it performatively. They want you to throw your obstacles into the fire. They want you to surrender the areas that had the pain in your body, those spaces in the shoulder, in the hip, in the knee, that you have stored pain, that they passed on to you for you to heal for them. And they know it's time for you to put it in the fire so that you realize that you've taken their pain and now you will purge that pain. You have taken their sorrow and now you will purge that sorrow. You hear in the distance the sound of wind again. The leaves are stirring, the fire is starting to die. And you notice that that silver moonlight is starting to become a little dimmer and a little dimmer. It's becoming quieter and quieter. The sound of the wind is settling. The sound of the owl is over. You can hear your heartbeat and your breathing, and you can still feel them all around you. But it is very quiet as they're introducing you to the inside of that gift you gave them. The womb consciousness, a fresh birth, a gestation of who you can become, an inheritance of beautiful things is now growing in this darkness, just like you grew in the darkness, just like they prayed for you to grow in the darkness so that you would become strong. In that darkness, in that void, is the possibility of all things. I want you to carefully pick the things that you want to see expanding: greater love, greater wisdom, greater health. They're going to ask you to settle yourself again, but now into your hips. For you are in the darkness, and the darkness is holding you in your hips. And inside of your hips is the cradle. And they want you to see the first dream you want to manifest come springtime. Because as they're guiding you towards springtime, they're guiding you to the doorway that will open before you. And they want all of your focus on that. And this is what they say to you now. As I speak these words, these are the words coming through. They say to you, you are worthy. Now, whether in your heart or out loud, say, I am worthy. They say, you are loved. Say out loud or inside of your heart, I am loved. They say, you are protected. You say, I am protected. They say, we prayed for you and you came. And you say, I accept the mission of your love, and I am happy to be an answer to the dreams you always wanted to see becoming. They say, you are nature, and you say, I am nature. They say, You are a force for good. Hold that sentence. It's a powerful one. I am a force for good. Now you see fairies coming along, sprinkling food for you. A warning, never accept food from a fairy unless you are ready for the challenge of walking into your most mystical self, because they will not return you for 20 years, 100 years, 2,000 years until they feel you have learned your magic. If you wish not to go with them, then thank them for the gift and promise that you'll take care of the natural world for them until you are ready for a journey that takes you into higher magic. But if you are ready at this stage to engage with the fairies, you may eat one treat, but be cautious. This is for the advanced. One candy. You must also offer one candy back to the fairies. That way, the exchange is equal, remembering all times that your ancestors have surrounded you and protected you. They have already told you that you are safe, you have a purpose, and you are being guided. This is the time to open your magic like a book and start reading a story that enchants and titillates and causes mirthful laughter and the release of things that are unnatural to you. This spirit world, mixing with our human world, merely wants you to know that you are loved as a natural and supernatural being and wants you to accept this journey at your own pace, in your own time, and in your own way. Now, I want you to see yourself getting ready to integrate something farther, but it will happen later. It will happen on Halloween night, maybe in the middle of the day, maybe in a dream, maybe in a waking vision, but it will come then to inform you of the gifts that are being exchanged. Know that you are blessed. Know that you are cared for. Light the incense so that you can send your prayers to your ancestors and the beings beyond. Light your candles so that you know that you're guiding them with the light. Put your pumpkins out to accept that you are seeding the future with fertility and life. And thank them for the gift they've given you, for the opportunity to be in this wild world is quite a large one, and it's quite a gift. Be blessed, see yourself lit with a sacred fire, and at your own pace, gently step out of the circle into your life. Give yourself time, whether you open your eyes quickly or whether you open your eyes slowly. Know that you have encountered ancestors, animal spirits, fairies, and guides, and that they will take good care of you. Be blessed and be blessed and be blessed.
That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for the wonderful advice about how to handle those fairies. Make sure it's an
Got
equal
to be careful. You
exchange.
eat fairy candy, you're going with them.
Yeah, that was, as you're saying that, I never thought of it that way, but it really, you brought such a beautiful quality to that. Thank you so much.
You got to give
I
them candy. You got to give them
gotta
candy.
give them candy. Now, what kind of treats do they like the most?
Okay, if we're talking fairies, they like hazelnuts. They prefer hazelnuts. They like seasonal fruits, which is one of the reasons why this time of year you see the pumpkins, the gourds, the squashes. They love apples. Apples invoke Iduna. She's the goddess of apples and apple orchards. So that also brings her energy and that influx of fertility that she represents coming into this season. Obviously, offering them a little pumpkin pie doesn't hurt anybody. Now we're in the world of sugar and high fructose corn syrup. They prefer natural treats if you have them, including
Yes.
raisins.
Okay. No corn syrup, no high fructose corn syrup. Okay.
No, if you're going to prepare something for them, either give them something fresh or actually take the time. And last year I did it. I made an ancestor cake. So I used all fresh, healthy ingredients. I splurged on the whole cake because I was baking it to give to my ancestors and to share the meal with them. And obviously I do lots of fairy work, which is why I know how mischievous they can be. So you have to create a beautiful balance accord with them, or it can be pretty sticky.
I'm going to read some of the comments that have come in. Charlotte writes, so magical and beautiful. Thank you, Gwenevere. Scotty Satori writes, so honored. That was awesome. Thank you. Omashar sent a little fairy image. Laura Chamberlain wrote, so beautiful. I will go with the fairies. I've always wanted to. Susan Bloomquist writes, how extremely charming. George Noble sent a very happy emoji. Tiara sent several emojis, including a spook, a goblin, and some fire. Sylvia is a little more practical. She writes, some grape preserves like Mom used to make, made by brother out of grapes from the land he stewards. Oh, that's a beautiful memory, Sylvia.
That is beautiful.
Laura writes, we'll bake something tomorrow for all of my ancestors. And Tiara writes, thank you so much. Yes, her birthday is Halloween, so we will be celebrating your birthday,
That's
Tiara.
going to be amazing.
Yes, we will get the replay to you, Tiara. As always, we always send the replays out on Monday, so the replay will be available on Monday to all of you that are part of the Global Peace Tribe, which is actually a good time for me to now remind everybody that, of course, we have about 42 people that are in the Zoom room with us, and we love each and every one of you. But I want to acknowledge all the people watching on 150 different Facebook groups and pages, the Conscious Awakening Network, Ellen Steinfeld's YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. Welcome. Thank you for watching. And I want to invite you to come and join us. Come join the Global Peace Tribe. That way you're in the Zoom room. You can interact directly with Gwenevere and always with our guests. And it's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. globalpeacetribe.com. When you get there, you're going to, of course, see our website, and you can learn all about us, all the different shows that we do, all the amazing people, and then click register for the new season. And that'll take you to a registration page. We do 2 or 3 shows every week. We also provide a free evening meditation every night, 7 nights a week. Here's the show that we did on Wednesday night. We had a live event from Ashland, Oregon, the Twin Ray, Johanna Beekman. It was beautiful. And of course, this is the show you're watching right now, all about the lunar eclipse, Sacred Samhain. So register and join us, and you'll get the links to all of our Zoom rooms for now until the end of the year. So join us. We have some special events planned. And one of the best parts of the Global Peace Tribe is Omashar. And he is always with us, and he provides us amazing music. And we're now going to go to Omashar for song number 2 of the evening. Hey, brother, how was that meditation for you?
The meditation was phenomenal. Thank you so much. And I love that we got to be with the fairy folk, because not many people go there. And I love the fairy folk, and especially when I'm visiting England, I'll go into the ancient growth forest there, and I'll feel the fairy folk. I have not felt it so much over here in Colorado, but definitely over there I don't have to believe in them, because they are there and they tap you on the shoulders and throw nuts at you and things. So thank you so much for that beautiful meditation, which took me into a really deep place. And so here we are. Okay, here's another one for you, like this one. And
amazing. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. I've seen too much to deny anymore. I'm finding out where I'm hurting. The journey now is liberating, breaking down walls inside me. And now the door within my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing out the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight as I climb aboard this ship of wonders. Beauty abounds in my life. I've seen it all through my own eyes. Heaven and earth are merging, and now the door in my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing up the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight, and I know that I am crossing over, letting go of all that keeps me from my birth, taking steps into my highest journey. Join together, we will create heaven. Door in my heart is open. Another aspect of me changes into light, clearing out the chalice of emotion. The sword of Michael keeps me free from worldly blight, and I know that I am crossing over, letting go of all that keeps me from my birth, taking steps into my highest journey. Join together, we will create heaven on this earth.
Wow. Let's all twinkle, Omashar. And Albert Einstein has even joined us. We've got Einstein in the house. I love that, right? Oh, that was really good. I love when you get that guitar, those guitar licks in.
It's what just absolutely amazing. I know they just kind of lift it up and they appeal to all the genres, because I like all genres of music, from rock to classical to everything. So it's all in there.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to remind everybody you can get all things Omashar at his website, omashar.com. And that's where we go down. We scroll down and we go to Bandcamp. That's where we want to buy his albums, because that's where he gets the best amount. So please buy his albums from Bandcamp. I'm opening it up right there. There we go. And he's got 5 albums, and that 6th one still waiting to give birth. But it'll happen. It'll happen.
It will happen. It is. It's you know, I just have to wait myself for the impulse. And so.
Omashar, thank you so much. We're going to have one more Omashar song a little bit later on in the show. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We will also hear more from Gwenevere in a little bit. But I just want to acknowledge MIchael Tamura, such a beautiful, beautiful man. And he was on the show many, many times. First, when we were Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And I know many of you go back to those years with us. And Michael was on that show, and then he was on The Awakening World as well. He passed away this week. And it was a very peaceful passage. He was feeling great. He was feeling good. He had a good breakfast, and he went into his exercise room. And then his wife noticed that he was in longer than usual. She went in, and there he was, slumped over one of his machines, and he just gently left his body. And so we really appreciate Michael a lot. And so I'm going to play some of his segments from when he was on the show with us previously. Now, ironically, Michael was always on the shows about near-death experiences because he, like Gwenevere, had multiple near-death experiences. So he would tend to come onto our shows and talk about what to expect, what it's like, how to manage it. So let's take a look at Michael from the last time he was on our show. I am here with MIchael Tamura, and when Kristen and I realized we wanted to do this topic, right away we thought, I hope we can get Michael to come back and share his wisdom. And as I already explained to you, he has a remarkable background. And Michael, I'm going to go right into it. What is your message for people that are dealing with the loss of loved ones who have passed?
Oh yeah, that's so important right now, especially with so many people seemingly making up like a mass exodus. But any of you who are dealing with that and dealing with any part of the process of dying and death, you've all heard probably time and again from various people, and even people who've had personal experiences of having died and then returning, is called near-death experiences, or they've had experiences of reincarnation, or they've worked extensively with the dying. Somewhere along the way, you've heard that you never die. You know, your physical body may die, but you continue to live in a different form. Those of you who are more religious, you may have been brought up with the idea of an afterlife. And then those who have the gift of mediumship or you've been to mediums to contact your loved ones who've passed on, there seems to be a continuum. But just intellectually knowing that you never die and that you don't ever have to be afraid of death or even when you have a religious belief in the afterlife, that's not going to fundamentally change your relationship to death and dying, especially when the prospect of dying gets close to home. You know, those of you who are already currently dealing with the death of loved ones, or you're considering even the prospect of them or you eventually dying, no matter how much you might understand or believe that no one ever really dies, you may still worry, experience fear, or definitely grieve when that life process that we call dying and death is imminent or has already happened. So fundamentally, transforming and healing your relationship to death and dying requires you to go beyond fear. That's kind of my experience. It's at the bottom of it, we run into this thing called fear. and it's not until somebody dies or you're starting to really face that prospect of dying that you get to that fear. If you're committed to getting beyond it, you get to that fear, because none of us wants to live in fear. It's one thing we just don't want to deal with. And in my experience of teaching spiritual seekers for decades, that fear, terror especially, is the last emotion that the advancing soul, the soul on a advanced level of spiritual growth, actually deals with. Okay? You have to deal with it ongoing, but it's when the soul is ready, says, okay, I'm gonna go beyond fear, and starts to actively deal with that fear. It's pretty much they're quite far along. And so that's good news on the one hand. In the world today, for the last several decades, terrorism has been on the front headlines practically all the time in one form or the other. And today it's just all over the place, domestic terrorism, individual personal abuse, type of terror, and global terrorism. What is that? Oh yeah. If you're a terrorist, you're the one who's most in fear. You can't be a terrorist and not be in terror. That's anyone who's loving and at peace, they're not going to be a terrorist, right? Even though terrorists are humans, and I'm sure each horrible terrorist that the world might consider them to be, really pure evil, even they have someone or something they love. So it's not complete, but they're heavy on the fear side. So then, what's your fear of death and dying? And it essentially boils down to your fear of losing your life as who you believe you are. That's different than you die and you lose your life. No. Why so many people firmly believe that when your body is no longer, the body that you have right now is no longer, you're dead and gone, is because they so believe that they are this particular body and this particular name. I'm Michael Tamura, I'm a man, I'm Japanese heritage, and on and on and on. Even to, I'm a healer, I'm a teacher, blah, blah, blah. We identify ourselves. In our own mind, we associate, this is who I am. But is it? If you believe that you're the form you're identified with as you, then and even the prospect of losing that form will bring about fear. And of course, the grief that comes with grievous loss, right? Loss of a loved one dies, or your, whatever you love dies. Your career that you absolutely love dies. Your home that you lived in since you were born and you love it. And all your memories and everything good about life is attached to that home. And it's gone in a fire, lots of grief. Well, of course, the grief that you experience at a loved one's death, or even the possibility of it, is from your belief that you lost the object of your loving as the form they temporarily inhabited goes away, and you go, it's gone. If the form is gone, that person is gone. My love is gone. So if years of hard work and you become, let's say, a celebrated concert pianist, the last thing you're going to want to happen to you is lose the use of your hands or lose your hearing, because if you can't use your fingers and you can't use your hearing, how can you continue to be the pianist that you are? And that's who you believe. I am this great pianist, and music is my life. And if I can't play, I don't have a life. A lot of people go through that. If you're a world-class athlete, you know, sometimes those of you sports fans, there's a lot of athletes now that's considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Most of them have a really hard time walking away from it, right? Without a really good reason. Why? They're afraid of dying. They're so identified, not only in themselves, but in the whole world's viewpoint. They're this thing, this person, this body. And if you aren't doing that thing anymore, you're good as dead. Or how about, you know,
Actually, Michael, what
yes.
I would love to ask you is how, so absolutely, we have our ego attachment. What is a practice that you can provide to people?
Yes.
And let me pause for one.
Scott, I can't hear you.
Because I'm muted. That's the end of part one. We're going to go to part two where he answers that question. But Gwenevere, I'd love to get kind of your take on what he's been sharing.
One of the things I want to share is his presence is very strong. And the honoring him so close to his crossing is such a huge gift. Because each person he's touching right now, he's experiencing it at a level he's never experienced it before. When you talk to people or share a story or give a gift of wisdom, something you've learned in your lifetime, you don't really get to experience the full, layered, vibrational, emotional, spiritual, and even physical responses of the person hearing you. And he is feeling everybody right now. He also shared with me, because he's so strong right now, he's so strong. He's sharing with me the way he ascended. I think that this is the week of the ascended heroes. I was mentioning to Scott earlier that a dear relative had passed in South Dakota. And it seems to me that people who were ready to stand up and move without any terror at all into the arms of ancestors and astral guidance is this week. This, again, we're in this bookends of the solars, and right here in the middle of this beautiful eclipse lunar, he literally showed me that one, he felt struck by lightning. Two, he experienced a surge of ecstasy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a surge of ecstasy? And three, he went into active vision. He saw, what he's showing is he saw beautiful emerald iridescent orbs coming up all around him. He didn't know that they were already greeting him. They were already celebrating him. And then he just stepped right out of his body, which is so awe-inspiring for him to have shared that with me while speaking to me about this whole transcending terror. And then he's literally shown me, and he showed me the transcendence beyond that before he spoke on it in the video you just showed me. So I'm having a multi-layered experience over here, and I'm going to tell you right now, this might be my favorite show. I want to be very honest from the deepest part of my heart and say, when I said I've become Sacred Samhain, I have such a deep intimacy as somebody who's also died and who speaks to spirit. And at this time of year, and to have his presence is the greatest gift I've been able to enjoy in real time in a long time. Because I'm sitting here with an ascended spirit going, oh, what else? Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Wow, well, that is really, really cool. Well,
It's
let's
exciting.
see if he,
Beautiful.
well, we're going to go to part two of, this video.
I'm wagging my tail.
This is fun. This is really fun. And thank you again, Gwenevere, for your amazing, Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I want to make sure that this is part 2. Nope, that was part 1 that I went to accidentally. So let's go to part 2, which is going to be this one. They both look the same in the way that I had them marked. So hopefully this is it. Yes, here we go. Michael, I would love for you to share a little bit maybe about your near-death experience, what you've learned from it, and then any practice of how we can manage our fear of death or our attachment to our form.
Sure. Okay, that would be great. Well, what was it? A couple of months before I turned 21 years old, my teacher all of a sudden said, "Hey, Tamura, you know, we have a choice in how we'd like to die." That was the proverbial 2x4 between my eyes. That got me going, whoa. And then he followed it up with, well, you could choose to die in pain and suffering, as most people tend to do, or you can choose to die in love and at peace with yourself. And when I heard that, I didn't waste an instant. At that moment, I made the decision, when my time comes, I will die in love, at peace with myself. But it wasn't till decades later, when I had my second near-death experience, or right before I had my second near-death experience, that I really started to understand what that means. And what I had to do is, all throughout, from that moment I made that decision, I started to practice dying correctly every day. Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Like, you hadn't seen this. You didn't know what he was going to say, right? Isn't
No,
this
I'm
something?
I'm sitting here in gales of ecstasy. I mean, what a wonderful opportunity for us all. What a beautiful proof about what this even lunar eclipse is about. I mean, he's taken a seat with us right here, right now. He accomplished. I've got chills all over my whole body. I want to cry, but not with sadness. I want to cry with bliss, with ecstasy. I don't have words. I mean, whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
big whoa, big whoa. Okay, I'm going to go back to the video. I had not watched this either. I just pulled them today. And so we're all on a ride together, everybody. All right, I've got to go back to that one. I think it's this one. Yes. Ooh, but I lost where we were. Michael, I would love for you to
That thing going away that we're grieving, that's just one small part of it. But when we start to experience that, all the other unattended grief flies up in our face, flies up in our mind, into our awareness that was buried. And so once that comes up, what do you do with it? Oh, do you fight it? Do you try to do something about it? Well, most of us, until we're aware, we fight it and we try to fix it. I don't like how I'm feeling. And how do I feel this? How do I get rid of this feeling? How do I get out of pain? How do I do all these things? But in actuality, these are just images in our mind, full of emotion, full of thoughts, full of blame, judgment, everything else. We just need to let go of these images. And that's what anybody who's ever practiced any type of meditation, first thing when they first start, they close their eyes, quiet, go within. And what happens? Did I turn off my stove? Did I lock the door of my car? And my leg's hurting. So what's that about? Those are all the images that you didn't pay attention to. You weren't aware of it. Of them in your mind. Now you're quiet. You're not engaged in, posting on Facebook or writing emails or driving a car, doing your job. It's all, you're aware of what's inside. So letting go of the images, that's the real letting go process. And when you let go, you're not getting rid of them. You're letting them be. You're becoming neutral to them, and you're going, oh, that's just a thought. That's just a pastime judgment I had when I was 4 years old, right? So all those come up, let it come up, and just let them go. What will help, when I had, just about before I had my actual near-death experience where my heart flatlined in the ambulance ride, and I floated up out of the roof of the ambulance and saw my wife driving, you know, intensely behind the ambulance. I had to be taken away about an hour and a half ambulance ride, and I had to wait an hour and a half. And that's after I have been going through a heart attack for 4.5 hours.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
So during that time, I'm being attended to by this really bright young man that I look into his face in the back of the ambulance, and he looked like, my thought was, God, he must be like a sophomore in high school. and then I asked him, you know, how long have you been a paramedic? And he says, oh, next week I'm going to take my paramedic's licensing exam. So I knew I was in good hands, because when you're learning, you're not going to miss anything, right? You're going to pass that exam. You want to, and you definitely don't want somebody, you know, dying on your charge. So I tried to reassure him, says, hey, kid, you know, don't worry. I'm not going to croak on you. And that's when I flatlined. As soon as the last words, I'm not going to croak on you, comes out of my mouth, that's the last thing I heard was, ee! And I float out of the my body and the ambulance roof. And I see my wife driving right behind her big SUV behind the ambulance, 75 miles an hour over a curvy mountain pass. And I look at her and I'm so happy. I'm just going, hey, hi, sweetheart. And she's clairvoyant. And so she looks up at me and she's shaking her fist at me. And I crack up. That made me even happier. And I'm putting words in her mind, you know, when I'm up there, I'm going, oh, she's telling me, I'm going to kill you if you don't get back here right now. Because, hey, what does it mean for a clairvoyant to see you leaving the body like that when you're being, you know, ambulanced in the middle of a heart attack? And of course, when you're quote dead, none of that matters. That's not even in my consideration. Death is not even since death is absolutely not a reality in spirit, it's not even a consideration. I don't even think about what she's going through. All I know is this total joyousness. And so from that place, I'm going, oh, hi, sweetheart. I'm here and you see me, yay. And then I end up in the celestial realm where I'm surrounded by these five great beings, golden light, and one of them comes down toward me. I'm floating up, she's coming, and she turns into this beautiful angelic female angelic being, and she goes like, bad boy. This is my second near-death experience, right? So she puts her hands on my chest and gently starts pushing me back toward my physical body. And she says, not yet. So I'm going, wow, I just wanted to check in. She pushes me back all the way into the ambulance, into my body. And as soon as I get clicked into the body, I can feel everything kicking up in the body. And the young paramedic, I open my eyes and I'm looking right at him with the paddles, you know, the defibrillator paddles, about to zap me. But I open my eyes and he starts yelling to the front guys in the ambulance, he's back, he's back. Oh, boy, was he happy that I was back. That was a nice welcoming. But anyway, so that was the little near-death experience I had in the second time. But before I got to that point, at home, well, I didn't know I was having a heart attack. And I asked Raphael, my wife, clairvoyant healer, to give me a healing while I went. I had to go outside into the sunlight, into the grass. And then, of course, my body just kind of collapsed. It wasn't dead yet, but collapsed on the grass. And I'm out of the body, surrounded by 12 members, beings, great, magnificent beings that make up this council in spirit. And so my initial reaction, I'm in the center of this circle, and I'm going, thank God you're here. Like, they're going to save me, right? Because it was very difficult on the physical, and it was very difficult. And they just smiled and stepped back about 15 feet away from me. Like, you're not here to save me. No, we can't intervene. This is your time, and you need to make a choice. You need to make a decision. But they wouldn't tell me what. We can't intervene. You need to make, this is your time to make a very important decision. And I inherently understood it's a decision about my life. Well, at that point, this is my second near-death experience, plus a lifetime of practicing dying correctly. I'm not afraid of physical death. Not at all. If I'm going now, well, so be it. But so that's not the question of, I got to get back. I have to live physically or whatever. So that's not the choice. What decision do I have to make about my life? That's so important. I'm meditating on that. And, meditating when you're in the middle of a heart attack is not easy. That's why I had to go out of my body enough to do this. And so then, long story short, I come back to this idea of, even though I know there's no death, I've been still treating my life as this incarnation. I was born, I'm this person, and this person's going to die at the end of this incarnation. I don't have a problem with that. But even though I know life just goes on, I'm still living by segments, birth to death segments, reincarnation segments. When I realized that, I thought, okay, the choice I have to make is to decide to commit to living the eternal life here and now. Then the fear came up, even out of my body. I'm not feeling anything, no pain, no fear from the body level. This is in spirit. And I'm going, whoa, there's fear and considerations on a soul level. What's that? What am I afraid of when I consider living the eternal life? Well, that's why when the proverbial genie pops out of the bottle and says, you have, if the genie says you could have immortality. If we really thought about it, most of us would say, no, thank you, not right now. Because when I realized, how do you live the eternal life? You have to, the only way you can do that is you have to live unconditionally, without placing conditions on your life or anyone else's life. Oh, that's scary, because that means until then I had that ticket, free pass called death. If things get too tough here, I'm out of here. I can pull the death card and get out of here. Whew. I'm not going to die, but at least I get a free pass to not have to live in this situation anymore with this condition. But when I forego any conditions, whenever a condition, and especially the intense ones that I am very invested in up to this point, comes up, I'm going to be able to, I have to look at it and I have to deal with it. I can't any longer use the victim card. I can't say, I can't help it. Or I don't want to do this. I won't, and I can't use the terrorist card, the bully card that goes, well, unless you become this way, or unless you do this, or unless I get out of this, I'm not going to do this, right? None of those either or ultimatums anymore.
Breaking out of the victim perpetrator cycle into the state of presence, into the state of being present to what is,
Yes.
and managing it as best as you can from a
Yep.
place of compassion and understanding.
Yep. And a step further is not just managing it, it's living in joy and celebration of life every moment, rather than this is a lousy day. So I'm going to be unhappy today because it's a lousy day. That goes out the window. And I'm looking at all that, and I'm seeing how many times in my life did I use all those excuses to not be, like Scott was saying, not be present. And so checking out, that's definitely not being present, right? Living an unconditional life, you have to practice being present all the time, regardless of whether you like it or not, whether somebody agrees with you or not, however anybody treats you, you got to be present. Which means all of a sudden, after some months after this experience, the near-death experience, I came back and in my healing process, recovery and healing process from everything, I realized, oh, that thing, the choice I made before I was 21 years old, I'm gonna die in love and at peace with myself. Oh, that's called living unconditionally. It took me several decades from that point to get to this realization. It's no longer an intellectual understanding. It was a total realization. And that's when you realize that, that's not the end. That's the beginning.
Right, of the process, of the practice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And a lot of people sometimes, the difficulty with dealing with death, yours or somebody else's, is it's too long. It's too long of a process. How do I get out of it now? How do I fix this now? How do I, stop
Right.
it now? Right. It's called pain. We don't want to be in pain 1 second longer. So the practice I developed for myself was, if I get a twinge of unhappiness, I'm not talking about dying or near death or anything like that. Whenever I find myself, oh, I'm not joyous. I'm not happy, truly happy. I'm not unhappy. I'm not miserable or anything like that. I'm just not totally happy. Then that's my little tell to go, okay, I have to ask my question of myself. Oh yeah. How much longer shall I stay in this space of not being fully happy? And I'm sure you can guess the answer I always get is not an instant longer, right? Well, if I have a choice of being happy or not, why not be happy? So then I have to look at, okay, what am I unhappy about? And it's so obvious every single time. I'm staring at this one or small set of images in my mind and brooding over it, being angry about it, upset about it, whatever. And I'm forgetting, I'm not aware. In my awareness at that moment, it's like a total eclipse of the sun. It's the brightness, the joy, all that is absolutely incredible about life. I'm not thinking about that. That's not in my awareness. God is not in my awareness. Spirit is not. I'm looking at, oh, God, I have to do the taxes over again or whatever. Or the loss of someone or something. And it's just, wait a minute, that person that I so respected, so loved, so care about, not only are they not really gone, but I'm not looking at who they are. I'm looking only at my image of who they were to me before they died. Wait a minute. And I'm grieving over the loss of that image. Not the person, the being is completely there. In fact, might be right next to me going, hey, I'm here. Why aren't you talking to me? But I'm looking at this narrow, myopic vision of just this image that says, oh, this lovely person, this lovely being, this lovely something is gone forever. And I'm not going to, poor me, I'm not going to have that anymore. It's taken away from me. Rip that out of my mind, blow it up. That's the other important practice is being able to take the image that you're dwelling on and just decide, oh, that's just an image. And how I teach all my students is, oh, instead create an image of a rose. Since everybody knows what a rose looks like, just imagine a rose in front of you, image, and then just put the other image, like the image of the loss, or there you have it. There's a rose. It could be yellow rose of Texas, or and then you put the other images. Oh, I feel this way. I can't stand that. You're upset, your judgments, your blame, guilty, whatever. Put it in that, and your energy, this overwhelming grief, whatever it is that comes up, it's just energy. So just let that go into that rose. And just, you're not trying to shove it in the rose like you're getting rid of it. No, you're saying, we are welcoming it. You're going, hey, you guys, it's crowded in here. Here's a nice, beautiful rose VIP waiting lounge that I made for you. Please have a seat there. It all goes in there, and you'll be surprised how easy everything that doesn't really belong in you holding, because it's either the past or it's not even yours. It could be images that you took on from other people. You believed in somebody else's, what they said. And that image, we communicate and we experience everything and make it into images as souls. But the image is in that rose, and then you imagine the image with everything in it exploding in a flash of light. There's no effort. It's not concentrating. It's not disciplining. It's not making it happen. No, you have to let everything be and realize in spirit, because spirit is undivided, there is never anything called trying. There's no thing called effort. So if you put effort into doing some spiritual practice or a psychic practice, it's not going to work. You have to relinquish all effort, all trying, and just restore your imagination and realize, oh yeah, every child knows how to imagine freely, no holds barred. That's why as children, we can say, hey, mommy, I'm flying 10 feet over your head now. Your body's still down there on the ground, but no, you're flying. And that's how imagination works. Everything we create in life is imagined.
Beautiful. That is such a beautiful practice. And I happen to have my rose right here. And so, Michael, this is just a homeopathic dose of your wisdom. And I want to thank you so much for the practice and the wisdom. And I want to direct people to a couple of websites where they can get much more of you and your wife, Raphael.
Yes.
Rafaela. And it's simple. It's your name, MIchael Tamura, MIchaelTamura.com. Now, everybody, when you go there, and Debbie's putting the link into the chat box for us right now, make sure that you sign up for his email. Put your email address in there, which I'm going to do right now, because when you put your email address in, you're going to get a beautiful 2-hour introduction to your psychic tools and life mastery practices. So I just signed up. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Michael also let me know that he and his wife are on Voice America. They do a weekly show. And so if we go to Voice America, which I'm doing right now, You can tune into the weekly show. It's actually Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Or, of course, you can go and listen to the recordings. So go to Voice America, and I love your name of it, Living the Miracle. So, for example, the one you're doing on March 30th, all about communicating and creating miracles. We all want miracles in our life. So, Michael, thank you so much for your time, for being with us, and sharing your wisdom and sharing how to work with a rose. Um, and God bless you. And I hope that we'll get a chance to have you come back on again sometime.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Scott, for inviting me to be on your show. And you have a absolutely wonderful show that, a lot of people in the world need, especially at this time. So thank you for
Thank you
doing
for your
that.
wisdom. God bless you.
Wow. Little did we know that the next time he would be on our show, it would be in this way. Gwenevere, what would you like to share?
So the hits just keep rolling. He is having such a fantastic evening. It's so wonderful for him to be able to sit with us like this. He's here, he's watching everything. When I said to you, he was experiencing everybody's emotions flowing, he's experiencing your emotions flowing, Scott. He's experiencing everybody right now. Okay, so when he said like pain is that thing that makes you leave your body. And one of the things that he accomplished, right? What I was detailing earlier is he experienced a pain-free crossing. He gave himself the gift of an ecstatic crossing where there was nothing to be afraid of, no pain to be incentivizing him, simply following the light forward. Like I said, he stepped straight out, right? No pain. And then, oh, whoops. So I have a request. And the request is based on how deeply he's involved with us right now. And it's a request based on Rafaela and a deep sharing with her. And the request is, could we have Omashar play about 30 seconds to 1 minute of music while we all close our eyes and listen to the music and just thank him for the gift he's given us, the fact that we're living his gift right now with him. And then after you post this, each new person who sees this, including if Rafaela couldn't come in tonight, finally he gets to go join them and sit with them. It's like a saint when they impart their gifts to people.
Beautiful. I'm going to share the screen with the photo of him that we've got. And Omashar, you can make it a couple of minutes. Let's really take some time and everybody in our own way tuning in to this beautiful man, MIchael Tamura, and just imagining him sitting right next to you in the audience, watching the awakening world. He wanted to be back on the show. So what a wonderful way that we welcomed you back. And Omashar, I'm turning it over to you. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to read some of the comments. Dia writes, I'm wondering if Michael's wife has seen this video and or tonight's program. This is life-changing for me, unique, profound, a gift of great magnitude. And yes, of course, I will send Rafaela both tonight's show and the segments that we showed separately. Susan Blomquist writes, I feel like this is something very new. Bonnie and Roger writes, I recall my dying husband asking me if I was happy, and I said yes. He asked why, and I said happiness is a choice. Laura Chamberlain, who's very sensitive, says, I hear him laughing so hard. It was so fun. And so many other comments from people coming in. Thank you so much, everybody. Hey, while it's on my mind, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get more of Gwenevere, because she is very, very special. And so Gwenevere uses Linktree. You've seen it before. And I'm going to go to her Linktree right now. Here it is. And I love what she calls it, oracles and enchantments. And I'm going to put the link into the chat box. But there's all sorts of wonderful things that Gwenevere provides. And most of all, let's take a look at her YouTube channel. She's got an ever-growing YouTube channel where you can really enjoy all these different experiences. Everything from portal hopping eclipse to my car is a time machine. That's interesting. Gwenevere, anything you want to point? Look at this. You've really built quite a you've got shorts and long things, all sorts of wonderful stuff happening here.
I actually seriously recommend people watch the YouTube video, My Car is a Time Machine, because it's a real event that took place last September, not this one, the year before.
Okay.
And I told details about it. And then this year I went through, I think, 17 micro portals on the way. And so I'm learning how they present themselves, what to look for, and how to experience them. So now I'm trying to teach other people to be consciously aware of when we're actually bursting through the membrane of a time bubble, because when a dimension is right next to a dimension, it's similar enough for people to not realize that they've made the step. So if you know what to look for, then you know you've made the step, and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually did it. I actually permeated the time space. So watch My Car is a Time Machine, because it was so much fun. Although I did think I was having a serious episode of dementia because it was that huge.
Wow. All right. Well, I've put a little bit more about Gwenevere into the chat box, including her Linktree, and we'll have a little more Gwenevere a little bit later on in the show. Thank you so much. This is really, really fun. Speaking of fun, we are going to go back in time. We are going to go back in time to our show from 3 years ago. We're wrapping it up. This is our 4th All Hallows Eve Sacred Samhain show. And on this particular one, Trish was my co-host. We were all in costume. And so you're going to see Trish as her male alter ego, Wyatt. And you'll see me in my wizard costume. And we're going to hear from good friend Jeff McBride, who made a video just for us. So let's go back in time and enjoy this moment. Very blessed. Very blessed. Love you so much, Janyan. Thank you so much.
Anytime, and Scott, and everybody who's here, I love you very, very much. And I will cast a spell of love for each of you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
All right, Scott, be blessed.
Take care, brother. Trish, what do we got next?
I'm so excited to share a little bit about our resident alchemist, magician, holder of several Guinness World Records. I didn't know, but I do now, and you know now. Lecturer of the Smithsonian Institute, repeat guest on Chris Angel's and Penn and Teller's show, and recognized by the Academy of Magical Arts, Society of American Magicians, and International Federation of Magic Societies, Jeff McBride has made an amazing and deeply special, just for us, for our eyes only, for your eyes only, just for you video. He has his own show tonight, so here we go, Jeff McBride.
Good evening, friends. It is time to celebrate Samhain, Halloween, the Celtic New Year, with some tricks and some treats. An answer once and for all. Which is quicker, the hand or the eye? Which is quicker, the hand or the eye? Looks like the eyes have it. And good evening. Happy Halloween, Global Peace Tribe. It is yours truly, Jeff Magnus McBride here with some sleight of hand magic for this trick-or-treat season. Now, I know that many of you have been spending your hard-earned money on candy. Well, the hand is quicker than the eye. Here is a little trick, and here is a little treat, one of my favorites. And welcome. This is a time when the veil between this world and the spirit world is the thinnest. It is the time to connect with our ancestors and to show them our gratitude for giving us our lives, and to connect with the spirits of the land, the spirits of nature. You see, the trees are alive, and the trees have stories to tell us. Tonight, we shall step back in time, 2,000 years ago, to the Celtic Islands, to the land of my ancestors, the Druids. Now, I know I don't look Druish, but indeed I am. And inside of this little purse, I have what is perhaps the world's greatest illusion. Would you like to see the world's greatest illusion? Yes? Yes? This is the world's greatest illusion. Money. That's right. People steal, they cheat, they die for what? For money. But what is money made from? That's right. It's made from paper. And where does paper come from? That's right. It comes from trees. The trees are alive, and the trees have secrets to tell. The Druids, my ancestors, used to worship the symbol of the tree. The tree, its roots in the ground and its branches stretching towards the heaven, connecting heaven to earth. The trees were alive, and the trees were magic. And thousands of years ago, the Druid priests would cut a single branch from an oak tree to create their magic wand, to weave their magic spells. The trees are alive and have secrets to tell. But over the years, humankind started cutting down the trees till not one sacred grove was left in all of the sacred lands to print money. And once the tree is cut down, the soul leaves the tree. You just tear this bill, and you cannot taste the fruit of the tree, although you can taste the mint of the bill. But it doesn't nourish, it doesn't sustain life. And once we've cut down our last sacred tree to print our last worthless dollar, we'll be living in a world of our own illusion unless we remember that each and every one of us is the magician in our own lives to transform not only ourselves, but the world around us, and to re-enchant nature. O sacred tree of the sacred earth, older than time can tell, grant me the power at your command to charge this magic spell. Money is an illusion. Trees are alive, and trees are magic. They have stories to tell. I'm Jeff McBride. Happy Samhain.
Oh, wow. I just read what Ayada said, and you're right. It's time for us to have magicians back on the show. I don't even know why I kind of stopped inviting them. I think I just got out of the rhythm of it. So I will go back and check in with Jeff and Sean. We all love Sean. We all love Paul Draper. So I'll check in with some of those guys about having them come back on the show. It was really fun. Well, we're going to do another little flashback in time. We are going to go to Adey Bell as our special musical guest artist. And you might remember Adey was on the show and really did a fun, she was on a show with Gwenevere, by the way. So this is an edit of one of her songs. So I think that'll be kind of fun. Let's take a look at Adey Bell, who's got a special in costume All Hallows Eve song for us.
This
Hello. Hello. Let's try that again. Sometimes, let's see if we get a play. There we go. Okay. Well, that's funny. It's just not playing.
I believe there are some mischievous spirits aboot.
It would appear. That's really strange. I'm not sure why it's
I
not
mean,
playing.
she's moving kind of like in slow-mo.
Yeah, like the video is just all right. Well, luckily I have other videos, so maybe there's just something else that wants to be played. And look who we've got here. We've got Adey Bell and Gwenevere. They did a whole show together. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. There you are, Gwenevere. Do you remember this one?
I do.
Yeah. And you were talking and sharing, and there's Adey, but not in costume. Let's see if this plays.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they're like, you can't carry this baby to term. So they kicked me out early.
Gotcha. Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Awesome. I grew up in a family where, Halloween was getting dressed up and going trick-or-treating. We did that for many years, and I always knew intuitively it was the best time of year. I mean, come on. Everyone's, wearing their fun costumes. It's kind of like we're letting loose. It's the fall time. The leaves are dropping. It was really awesome. And then when I was 23, my father died on Halloween. And I was a hairdresser at the time. Still am a hairdresser, but working in a shop at that time and kind of getting ready for a party, getting everybody zhuzhed and ready to do their hair and all their stuff. And my sister called me with the news, and, obviously major shock. It was a sudden, he died of a heart attack. So it was a sudden, abrupt, just like Halloween is now no longer this like dress up and go to a party kind of a thing. And so many years it took me to come to terms with it, be at peace with it. I love that my father, of course now, I love that he chose Halloween because he was such a mischievous guy. He like really planned his entrances and exits. He's very dramatic. So I love that he chose All Hallows Eve, the Day of the Dead, to cross. And I spent many years after that really honing into what it called attention to for me is like, it called attention to what Halloween, what Samhain, what it is really all about. And it gave me such a direct connection to speaking with the other side, because my father and I were very close. Of the siblings, he and I were really tight, and he is also a musician. And so I learned how to kind of cultivate and create my own tradition, my own way of honoring him. And then we slowly started building in, other ways to create our own tradition and our own lineage, because, we've forgotten so much of how to honor the dead. We grew up in a very Christian, Western civilized culture, which doesn't really do a Halloween thing. They kind of just do the dress up and the sugar pushers. That's what they are up to. And so we started realizing, we're like, wait a minute, there's something beyond here. We can sense this, there's something more. What is it? And so I'm grateful that my family, my tribe, we just started creating our own ceremony, and we don't have any lineage to really draw from other than we're all pretty much, we're Northern European. We have a lot of, Celtic and Norse mythology, but nothing concrete that was saying, like step one, light the candles, step two. And so we just kind of took it upon ourselves to create our own holy day ritual. And so it's a time for us to really gather as family. We have an ancestors altar where we've collected all the photos that we have, right, of the people who have been, in our lineage. And I love, Scott, the meditation you brought in of the nameless ones, the storyless ones. Like, we don't know what their lives were like, but we call them in, and we light candles for them, and then we sort of gather and remember and share stories. It's one of my favorite parts, is having a fire and telling stories about the ones who have crossed. And so I know, like you, most likely all audience members watching, we've had so much incredible loss. Several people very dear to me this year have crossed over, so we've got their pictures on the ancestor altar, and we're gonna party and have a feast for them tonight.
Beautiful. Oh, it's really beautiful to be able to spend this time with both of you. And I'm going to look for where Adey actually plays a song. Since we've got the live Gwenevere, oh, there we go. It looks like that's what she's about to play. I see hands moving, and hopefully this will play. Interesting, though, that we got to hear that story about losing your father on Halloween. About that. That's beautiful, Gwenevere. Thank you. Adey Bell, what comes
Hi.
up for you in this topic?
Well,
Oh, it looked like she was about to play. There we go.
Teach me, teach me. You're here.
once forgotten how to dream. Teach me. Teach me. Pour forth your spirit on my mind. Pour forth your spirit on my mind. You're here with me. I can feel you breathe, and I believe that you guide me. Yes, you guide me. Yes, you guide me.
Gwenevere, is there anything that's alive for you that you'd like to share?
It's so good to hear that song again, and it's so good to hear it tonight. And I noticed that the information and the flow of how you've put the show together tonight is speaking on everything that is this portal. It's all a great lesson. Even the mention earlier of the forgotten ones, when I was having the guided meditation and I said, past the seven, past the seven, past the seven, spiral after spiral, those are the forgotten ones in our own family. People, I heard this quote earlier this week. People rarely know of the story of the grandfather of their own grandfather, much less beyond. And she mentioned that, saying that she understood the mythologies, but no one to teach her to light the candle. And so when I was having that meditation, and I was like, they're all coming to give you these things that have been forgotten. So it's interesting when you realize we've held this pain inside of us that was their pain, but we had no names for it. And we had this pain inside of us that was the pain of the loss of the trees for something that was an illusion, but we had no words for it. And then we had the loss of understanding of all these gifts when they cried and starved and struggled and survived so that we could even be here, that they're all coming in right now, that they're all joining us right now, that they all want us to reunite as a human family. Can you imagine the sorrow in their hearts watching just the endlessness of war breaking out and people hating people? And then when we get down to the ground level, everybody that I've encountered so far is so exhausted and just want to see a world family and peace once and for all. No more greed, no more starvation for no reason, made up reasons, no more suffering. And all these ancestors are coming in. So it's such a beautiful show, so intuitively done by you. So much of your light is shining through and how you arranged and organized it. And I'm witnessing it. And the thing I love about it is, aside from experiencing this story that's unfolding right now with you, I'm seeing more and more that little God self that visited me all those years ago. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story right now associated with you. What I didn't tell you is that your higher overlighting self, a version of you, is Heimdall. Do you know who Heimdall is?
Star Trek? Well, isn't there a character named Heimdall in Star Trek Discovery?
There might be, but I wouldn't know about that. I'm not up to date with my Star Trek. No, he was the Norse god who created the energy, which was the rainbow bridge between the god world and the human world. So somewhat a messenger, but also a god free to come and go as he pleases. Okay. And so when you'd come to me that evening, that was the form you'd come in. And I'm seeing a little Heimdall in you tonight.
Well, I'm game. I'm game. Thank you. Thank you.
It's beautiful to see. It's an art form. It's beautiful to witness.
Well, and to be really honest, tonight's show was very spontaneous. I went and I brought in the videos from previous shows. I thought, well, maybe we'll show some of this and some of that. And it's been a very kind of spontaneous thing. And of course, adding Michael, we decided to do that a few days ago when he passed away. I want to read a couple of the comments that have come in from our audience, and then we'll have a final Omashar song and then our KES healing. Ayada writes, further to Jeff's thought about the trees, I feel moved to share something from decades ago when I lived in England for a year in the late 70s. I frequently noticed as I was driving through the countryside, enjoying the emerald green rolling hills, the feeling that something was missing. It seemed almost as though something else should be on those hills, but I had no idea what that meant. It was until many years later that I learned that those rolling green hills of sheep pastures, in fact, used to be forests of magnificent oak trees. It blew my mind. I instantly realized that what I was picking up on, the grief of the natural world, having lost those mighty forests. Sylvia writes, in the late 90s, I visited an online friend in West Yorkshire, England, who kept talking about how wild the moors were. I felt like the 3 acres of maple forest and bramble batch that held the family home in central Ohio and the surrounding forests and meadows of that area were much wider than the moors. Scotty Satori writes, a true story of life and love after death, Supernatural Love by Pam and Alan Johnson. And Sylvia writes, so many ancestors, trees, bears, wolves, and dralicorn. Somebody will have to tell me, what is a dralicorn? Do you know, Gwenevere, what a dralicorn is?
It's a dragon unicorn, a flying
unicorn
with fire.
A dralicorn. Wow.
A dralicorn.
A dralicorn. That sounded well. It's I've often fantasized that as so many species are leaving the planet, others are going to come back. And I'm holding out for unicorns. But now I'll hold out for dralicorns. Gwenevere, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence. And I love, every year you've done costumes. This is my favorite one, for sure.
Oh, thank you. It's the Chaos Cow costume, where I had barely any time to do it at all, and I was chasing cows in the field.
Well, I'm grateful, and thank you so much. You bring so much wisdom and joyfulness, and what a magical night of having Michael, and then what he said, and what you picked up about how he left his body, and then we see him talking about how he spent his whole life preparing for that. Truly amazing.
He was gloriously prepared. And I believe that this window where he's getting to still hang out with us, while also he did a massive ascent, right? Which means he's hanging out with ancestors, he's interdimensional, he's experiencing multiple persons in the past and the future, all around, like dimensionally, right? So he's in the big celebration, which is one of the reasons why I wanted us all to take a moment to share our bliss, our joy, and our love for the way he's left his words behind for us to basically saturate and marinate and grow inside of the soil he planted for us. What a beautiful, blessed evening. And again, thank you so much for creating this, because I got to be part of it in a way that I never expected to be. And I'm still experiencing wave after wave of hug, and there's lights dancing in the room, and he's here. And it's just been a really amazing evening. And I'm so grateful.
Love you so much, Gwenevere. Looking forward to many more adventures with you.
Same. Thank you. I'm going to put myself back on mute so we can listen to beautiful singing.
Oh, there's a couple more comments that came in. Lots of people thanking you, Gwenevere. And for Margie, who came in late, MIchael Tamura was a dear friend who was frequently on the show, who passed away this week. And Gwenevere tuned into what his death was like. And then as we played the video of him from a year ago, he's describing how he was preparing for death. It was an amazing thing. Go back and watch the replay. Charlotte has something. She writes, this week I received a new understanding about a little known ancestor, someone we know very little about, but whom I believe is present and impactful. And I saw her in the ancestor circle tonight. Thank you, Gwenevere. So Gwenevere comes through again. So thank you, everybody. We are going to go to Omashar for a closing song, and then Pia Avia is going to lead our KES group healing tonight. But Omashar, what an interesting evening, right?
What an amazing evening! Holy smoke! I feel so complete and empty at the same time. Gwenevere, you rock, sweetheart. And what kind of knocked it over for me was not just that, but having been brought up in England and knowing that pretty much the whole of England was oak forests, and knowing that the oak forests were cut down for the British Navy across hundreds of years. And holy smoke, I'm not going to go any further than that because there is a rabbit hole right there. However, right? So anyway, so pretty juicy what I'm feeling. So thank you so much. We have all created the soup tonight. And Scott, you are a master, dude. I love you so much. And thank you.
Love you too, brother.
So let's, without any further ado, let's do something. Okay, for my final backdrop. Da-da-da.
Ooh.
All right. All right. Oop, hang on. Woo-hoo. One more thing. Here we go. Where are we? There we are. Now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. Love is reaching through the hearts of me and you. Our world is waking up to a different point of view. And now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off. So now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark, and show each other what we can do, and then the light shine right on through. Now we recognize we've been spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. 'cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we walk in the dark. Let's show each other what we can do, and let our light shine right on through. 'Cause now we recognize we've been hypnotized. The spell is wearing off, and so now we rise with higher frequencies. There is no disguise. The truth of life itself is now realized. So shake yourself free of the past. No longer do we live in no longer do we walk in the dark.
You're human. You are perfectly human. I love it.
I know, me too. I don't care either. It's just like there's so much going on. There's this weird backdrop, and then there's all the people dancing, and the content of the song. It's so true, and yeah, you know when you've done a meditation and you can't quite speak yet.
Yeah.
Well, I managed to speak mostly.
You did fabulous. We love you, Omashar. Thank you so much. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Omashar and I will be back on Wednesday night. And this Wednesday night is going to be one of our community shows, which means we're going to be hearing from all of you. So join us on Wednesday night. We're going to talk about, we're going to show some clips from the past. Andrew Bailey is a pop artist, and he's going to show his pop art show that is taking place. That's going to be really fun. And we want to hear from all of you. So join us on Wednesday night. And then a week from tonight, it's all about Ascension. Deborah Giusti will be back with several of her favorite Ascension teachers, and also Anastara. Theo Grace will be here with playing music, and of course, Omashar as well. So we've got some fun shows coming up. Definitely want to make sure you join us for that. All right. Well, in conclusion, just a reminder that every Saturday night now, we complete our show with a KES, Christic Energy System healing from one of the advanced teachers of the Twin Ray community. And I'm really enjoying how we're weaving the Twin Ray community with the Global Peace Tribe in many, many ways. Of course, we're doing the meditations every day. And coming back to do it again is Pia, all the way from Iceland. Hello, Pia. And what time is it where you are right now?
It's 2:30.
Oh,
God
bless you.
no. It's 3:30 almost.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much for being with us. And please, for people, a lot of our audience have experienced previous KES healings, but some of them haven't. And of course, there's always all the new people watching on Facebook. So please share a little bit about what this is, how people can most experience it. And I'll come on on at the very end after you've completed.
Of course. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So good to be here again. Yeah, so I would like to share a little bit what the KES or the Christic Energy System does. So you want to understand that everything is energy, and everybody does know that by now already, right? And the Christic energy basically helps you to remove all those lower and denser energies from your energy bodies, from your physical body, from your Akashic records, from your soul and your monad, to help you basically to be able to ascend. And those Christic energies that are coming through the practitioner, which is me tonight, they are going to basically help you to get back on the ascending spiral instead of the descending spiral. And I'm just tuning into what else I could express and explain to share a little bit more deeper informations. What I found very interesting and very amazing about the system is that it helps you to tap into your highest timeline, or to be connected and aligned to your highest timeline, because based on all the decisions that you make throughout the day and the choices you took and that you're taking, this is how you're constantly creating new timelines. And because the founders, Sananda Ji and Shekina Ma, are here to assist every one of us and support every one of us to be aligned with our highest timeline. What was I gonna say? I don't know, I lost track somehow. Yeah, I guess I'm a bit tired, a little bit tired. Yeah, so maybe I'll just start instead of trying to express or share more. Yeah. I think I'm ready, Scott. Okay, I'll just start. So,
Thank you.
okay, good. Thank you. So I invite everyone to get really comfortable. You can sit or you can lay down. But the invitation here for you is to open up to receive a healing tonight that goes beyond the human comprehension. A healing and a shift onto your highest timeline that allows you to live your fullest expression of the divinity or of the divine. So I invite everyone on the call and those who are going to catch the replay later on to close your eyes now and to take a deep, deep breath into the heart and into the belly. And each time you exhale, you are invited to just let go of everything that needs to be let go of and released. Take another deep breath in and release and exhale. Receiving the support of the full moon today, helping you to reset the emotional body, releasing resistance, releasing any blockages, any ancestral karma. With another deep breath in, we now invite you to bring your awareness from the heart all the way down into the base of your spine, down to your feet. all the way down into the center of the earth, the crystalline core of Gaia. And you are invited to fully connect with the crystalline core and anchor your energy field into the crystalline core. Just feel how your energy body, your light body, clicks in to the earth core, the crystalline diamond heart of the earth, and into the grids of the planet, the crystalline grids. And you really feel how the connection with Mother Earth, with Gaia, gives your body the allowance to relax even more and to open up even more and to increase your receptivity to receive whatever you're meant to receive tonight. Allow the energy from the crystalline core now to come up all the way back up again. Through your feet, through the spine, back into your heart. Opening up now the upper channels to receive the energy from the sun and the central sun and the high heart of the universe, Lanikaea. And just allow those energies drop in to your crown, into your head, into the heart, where you are becoming the bridge between heaven and earth, where you are connecting the earth, Mother Earth and Father Sky inside of you, and you allow that alchemical process to bring you into a greater balance and harmony within. I'm going to read a prayer, but before I do read the prayer, I'm asking everyone on this call tonight and those who are going to watch the replay to agree to receive this energy healing today by just saying out loud, saying yes out loud, or just in your mind. Okay, beautiful. I, Pia Riedelmeier, call upon the Cosmic Christ Supreme Intelligence to support and facilitate this group chaos holding session. I ask permissions from all receivers present to receive this group holding with the highest good and divine grace for all involved. I request on behalf of everyone present and everyone who is going to catch the replay to become aligned for the duration of the session to the divine intelligence of Christic energy system with grace, with ease, and with joy. I invite the cosmic Christ energy to connect with us now in the most appropriate way for all involved. May all that transpires in this microcosmic reflection of our group constellation support and uplift the ascension of the entire human collective and all sentient life. I also call forth assistance from the divine Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Father presence to overlight this group container with pure unconditional love from the Most High. May all be known through this connection of pure love, so that this group holding session anchors in us in the most benevolent way. Hosanna, 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 in the highest. Thank you. And so it is. And while I will begin with the clearing and the healing, I will be quiet. And I give Omashar permission to play some background music. Thank you. skeletal structure, bone to cranium, spinal column to spinal nerves, muscular to ligament, circulatory and lympathetic system to venous and arterial, heart to lung, breath to blood to brain barrier, organ and endocrine system, recalibrate, immunity system and blood chemistry upgrade, central nervous system to parasympathetic to vagus nerve, balance now. And I invite now everyone to visualize the color green above your head. And visualize how the color green and the energy, the virtue of love, enters your crown chakra, your head, and fills your entire body and being. Visualize, see and feel how the color green fills every single cell of your being, every muscle, every tissue, every organ, all your bodily systems. And I want to say thank you to the cosmic Christ for all the beings that have worked through me. I want to say thank you to Sanandaji and Shekina Ma, to everyone on the call sharing their wisdom, their music, creativity. I want to say thank you to everyone who co-created the show today and joined and did bring in their joy and love and appreciation. And I invite everyone to send love to all those parts and pieces of yourself, to all those aspects within you that need more light and love, all those shadow aspects. And the more love and compassion you are able to feel, the more you will be able to share that love and compassion with everyone else and with the rest of the world, sending this love and light to all those places on the world that need it the most. And all of us coming together and uniting as one big group of light and love. Just allow that to be transmitted into the field, touching every single heart on the planet, every being and every animal, every sentient being. Just amplifying that light and love even stronger. Feeling the power of our ancestors working through us, with us, beyond time and space. and uplifting the entire planet, the entire collective. Visualizing how everybody is receiving this gift deeply into their hearts and minds. Visualizing everybody coming into greater harmony and balance. Visualizing everyone to be centered, being that bridge between heaven and earth. Visualizing everyone connecting with the divine and manifesting their own divinity. Expressing their divinity. Sharing their divinity with everyone. What I have learned from Michael today is to feel more joy no matter what. And that is my personal invitation to feel more joy in my life. So with that being said, I invite everyone to slowly come back into their bodies. Bring your consciousness all the way back into the body now, into the here and now, into the space that you are in. With the heart wide open, fully receiving and sharing, giving perfectly, receiving love, giving love. You can begin to move your body a little bit and maybe move your shoulders, your fingers, your feet. And with a smile on your face and gratitude in your heart, you are invited to anchor everything that you have received now into this physical realm.
Thank you so very much, Pia. Some of the comments are coming in. Susan Bloomquist writes, great gratitude, beautiful Pia. It's always hard for me to talk after these sessions. It's like, so bear with me. I experienced a great gift. I connected with my angel self and flew with the bird spirits. Trina Joy said, thank you, Pia, for your KES healing and your beautiful invitation and art. And she put into the chat box some of your artwork. And I believe, so isn't that sweet? That's
so sweet.
And Trina is down in Ecuador. So we've got a little Ecuador to Iceland connection happening right now. And, you know, a reminder, I've put it into the chat box, but for those of you watching on Facebook, you can find all sorts of wonderful art and expression from Pia at her website, which is wakeupyoursoulcreations.com. Wakeupyoursoulcreations.com. And I see Gwenevere is here with us. I'm going to pop her on for a minute. She's still blessing us with her presence. Thank you both of you so very much for all the beautiful contributions you make every day, not just tonight on the Awakening World, but every day. And one of the things I love to do is highlight people like yourselves that are high vibration, angelic beings who have chosen to come into this dense earth plane and take on human bodies, which I know is not easy for you angels. So thank you for your gift of bringing your spirit into human bodies to help us with an awakening world. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, beautiful global peace tribers. Thank you, Laura Chamberlain, for those comments that I'm seeing right now. And we hope to see you all Wednesday night. It's our quarterly community show. So definitely please join us. And may you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.